Hurricane Irene hit New Jersey on August 27th. Since that day, people have been working hard to rebuild their lives. One town that was affected by the storm was Denville, New Jersey. Since Hurricane Irene hit Denville, people have been trying their best to restore it to what it once was. Denville is a town that is full of small, family-owned businesses, many of which were affected by Irene. Here's their story. Lady K Lingerie was just one of the many shops in Denville affected by Hurricane Irene. Kyle Goodwin explains how they were impacted by the storm.
We had over 2 feet of water. We replaced walls, floors, electric, all of the furnishings. We had a huge loss of the inventory, but we took a lot of our sleepwear and robes and loungewear, and many of my employees and friends washed them. We did about 30 loads of wash, and we had a big sale, washed once, never worn, and it was a huge success. And that paid our immediate bills, and since then, the people around here have been very supportive in giving us business. Mother Nature has been very good to us with a very good weather pattern in January and February and in March, so we're actually doing quite well. So we're almost back to normal, thanks to all the people and customers who have helped greatly.
Flora Catanzaro says what the rebuilding was like for Tana Creations, a jewelry store in Denville, after it lost its floors as well as its wall, its merchandise, and its showcases.
Denville is a wonderful place. The people were fabulous. I can't even begin to tell you. And I live in Succothana, and I'm telling you, Denville people were wonderful. They helped us. There were strangers here working in the store sometimes that I didn't even know, and they were cleaning and pulling and lifting and really helping us.
Kyle Goodwin explains how Hurricane Irene brought people together.
None of the shopkeepers ever get to talk to any of the other shopkeepers because we have the same hours of being open. But since we were all just down here doing repairs, it got to be quite a big hug fest. And I have to tell you, the very most touching thing that happened to me was one day I was in here in my gutted place talking to an insurance person who was not telling me anything that he could do for me, and there was a knock on the door, and it was a young man, probably in his 30s, and I motioned him in, and he said no, and I went over to the door, and he handed me a big, long-stemmed white rose, and he said, because you're a lady and you're from Denville, and that was the most touching thing that ever happened. And the rose lasted 2 weeks. From that date, it took us 2 weeks to get everything back in the store.
Sweet Expressions is a shop that sells candy, chocolate, and other treats. Jerry Lombardi, who works at Sweet Expressions, tells how the flood put people in a difficult situation.
We were closed for 2 months, so you'll never recoup what you lost in those 2 months. But, I mean, to me, there was no question of closing because I love the store and I love what I do and I love the people here. So we just kind of forged forward. But it's definitely changed the complexion of things. You know, you had to rebuild. I mean, I looked at it as a chance to change and to, like, you know, do some stuff that was better and, you know, repaint, get all new furniture because we got everything new. We didn't save anything. You really couldn't. So, I mean, it was, you know, if you try to, you know, make lemonade out of lemons, that's what we did.
Surprises in Store in Denville, which sells Vera Bradley items, clothes, and jewelry, among other things, had about a foot of water during the flooding. Katie Olenowski, a worker at Surprises in Store, says how she feels about the flood.
I think the flood only brought everyone closer, and it really made people realize that we're really lucky to have such a cute little downtown, and once they saw it underwater, they really wanted to pull together so that we can keep it special and keep it going, keep all the businesses open.
Goodwin tells how the town raised money.
There was a walk, but the main thing is they had a thing called Band-Aid on Broadway, and 12 bands volunteered their time, 6 at one end of the street, 6 at the other, and they played and played and played all day long. The weather was phenomenal. There were vendors. There were people coming and having a really, really good time. They were very supportive. They raised a lot of money. They raised over about $200,000 that came back to help everybody, went into the fund. Mother Superior over at St. Francis raised a lot of money and gave it to us. The Fall Festival gave us half of their proceeds. The previous year they did $40,000. This year they did $60,000. They gave us $30,000. A lot of advertising is done with that. Money came into our pockets so we could buy more inventory. So I think if you look and see that the only business that didn't come back was Miami Rice, that the rest of us came back because we are so well supported by our customers. If we didn't like our customers, why would we bother?
For Marist College, I'm Katie Graziano in Denville.